we approach this as an opportunity to help the military connect to society, right? We do have a recruiting crisis in the military right now, and part of that is society needs to know their military. And this is an opportunity. I mean, it was great before the game. We've got the SEAL Foundation, got the Navy SEALs to bring up some of their boats and some of their guys. We've got some of our vehicles. And so, you're watching these, the youth of America getting a chance to talk to Green Berets and Navy SEALs, get behind a gun, talk about what they do and connect. And I think that's important.
Yeah, we can't make it this mythical thing that lives out there. And we got to remember that at the end of the day, the guys who were on that field, the units that we all served in, I mean, we were still regular people,
right?
Who came from society, identified that there was, we wanted to give back. We wanted to be part of something bigger than ourselves. We went out there and we rose our hand and we went and did it. And that's what these guys are doing.
And I think, that's the other connection that I think is necessary for the youth of America to see that, hey, this is something that's achievable for them.
Yeah.
This isn't, it's a high bar, but it's not an impossible bar. If you want to be in a Green Beret, you can get there. It's going to take hard work. It's not going to be given to you for free, but you can achieve it if you want, just like every guy out on that field did at one point in their career.
Yeah. So I want to talk about for a second the programmatics of the foundation. Okay. Last time we spoke, sir, we went into detail, kind of what are the different initiatives, whether it be scholarships, whether it be casualty support, whether it be assistance on the VA disability front. And that's really taken front and center of so much of what the foundation is doing right now. Can you give just an update on how far that program has come over the last year and why specifically the VA disability piece has become a central tenet of the foundation?
Yeah, we went through a strategic review several years ago, of which Chris was part of the volunteer team to lead, and he can kind of tell you, some of the outcomes of that. But one of the things that we got from that team was the need to transition the weight of our effort away from casualty support, just because of the tempo of the war. Fortunately, we were taking fewer casualties, but that where the real need was in the community was in transition, and in kind of mental health and spiritual health. And so those kind of going forward have been really where we put the focus of our programmatic spend. Every Green Beret is going to leave the force at some point. And whether they do 5 years, 10 years, or do a career of 30 years, they're going to pass through the VA system, which is a difficult system to navigate, particularly to acknowledge all the wear and tear that a Green Beret goes through in his training and his operational cycle. So we made the commitment a few years ago as a board to fund this VSR program, and it's really grown beyond, I think, really our expectations. I mean, we're not just taking care of folks that are in uniform today. We're taking care of Vietnam veterans who didn't get their appropriate VA benefit 30 and 40 years ago.
Yeah.
So it's really important.
Yeah, I mean, I think that's right. Like, when I came onto the board, there was still significant spend and support we were doing to casualty support. But in just the last few years, that started to wane a little bit, but the need did not shrink in terms of the community. And not only did we make an investment in particular things like the VA disability, like care rating, like it's now becoming sort of the forefront and almost coming home. Like, I'm at a 20-year mark from when I first came in, and like a lot of my friends that are still active are at the retirement age. And like literally guys I was at dinner with last week when I was for Liberty were like, hey, I got to do my package. You have an idea how it works? It's like, not only do I know how it works, like we've essentially cornered the market on doing that and doing that well for a lot of folks. I'm on a text thread with guys on my former ODA that, are still like, I'm not feeling great. I'm kind of breaking down. They've just recently gotten out, or like, they're coming up on their 20-year mark. And I was like, look, guys, like this service was designed and built to solve that real need.
Yeah.
And not only is it a need that I think that we've installed kind of at the right time, we're very proficient at it with the staff. They're exceptional in terms of getting results, getting people, appropriate ratings, getting through that process, and almost in a sort of a fire forget way. If you talk to some of the people that have gone through it, they're, connecting with us online, issuing a basic, set of paperwork, and, minimal churn in terms of updating records, and are coming away with solid ratings. So we've done, I think, the right thing for the community in getting that set up.
Yeah. I think it's important too, as the first quarter ends here, that we'll give an update on the game where we're down 4-1 at this point, but they're gonna reset here during this quarter break.
We can hope so.
Yeah, I think it is important that we understand when folks are transitioning out. They might feel good today, at the moment of transition, but so many things manifest themselves later on. And I think when we talk about what's the call to action, how do we get people to realize, hey, this is something you guys need to do, it's something you want to do, and it's you have to go to that advocate from GBF who sits in your special forces group, go talk to them and get that process going, because it might take a year, 2 years, 4 or 5 years even for things to come up, and then we don't want to back into it. We want to address it head on.
The other thing that I think it's important to talk about is that our transition program has grown over the last 6 months to be much more than just the VSO transition, the Veterans Affairs piece. We've partnered with I think about a dozen corporations right now who are helping with targeted job placement for Green Berets. They've got gaps to fill, and they want good proven performers who are complex problem solvers, the very definition of SFNCOs and officers. So we've put together a whole program that kind of helps ease the transition from uniform service back into civilian world, and that includes kind of the job placement aspect.
Yeah, I think the next Ridgeline 2.0 program is the one you're talking about, and I agree. The Army and Special Forces has already put our operators through a selection process, and employers can in effect use that process and say, this person's already been assessed and selected for excellence. Now let's take that and give them a skill, because they may lack a hard skill, but we know they have the soft skills, we know they have the character, we know they have what we want to build a great organization, and we can teach them what they need on a daily basis once they're in their organization.
Well, they've proven the ability to learn.
Yeah.
Right? I mean, they've proven the ability to learn complex skills, difficult skills, and so the skills, for many corporations, the skills piece is less important than the heart. It's complex problem solving, but it's also the commitment to mission, whatever the mission is, and the ability to do what it takes to accomplish a mission. And whether that's in a business suit or in a uniform, that's one of the, I think, differentiators that Green Berets bring to civilian life. They understand commitment to purpose and working hard.